evening, everyone, and welcome. I want to welcome our panel members. I am Joan McMaster. I'm an associate superintendent in the school's office, and we're here tonight to talk about the academy governance. In 2008, Catholic education within the Diocese of Brooklyn had a systemic change with the introduction of the academy governance model. Since that introduction of that new model, the Diocese of Brooklyn has experienced some hiccups along the way, but more importantly, we've experienced much success. And that success is really from the dedication, collaboration, time, and talent of everyone who has said yes to the call to bestow a foundation for life and to help parents to fulfill their wish for a Catholic education for their children within the Diocese of Brooklyn. So this evening, we're here to really hear from our panel members their insights as they share their experiences with us. So let's begin, and I will introduce the panel members as we move along. I'm going through cards quickly. Our first panel member is Maura McCarthy. Thank you for being here today. Maura is the chairperson for the Board of Directors for Our Lady of Blessed Sacrament Catholic Academy. And Maura, I'd like to ask you if you would please share with us, what does it mean to volunteer on a Catholic Academy Board of Directors, and how has this new ministry in Catholic education affected you?
Thanks, Joan. Well, first off, it definitely doesn't mean that you're going to speak in front of this many people. What it actually means is obviously an investment of some time. We meet once a month for about an hour for the board meetings. And if you're on a committee, maybe that's another hour a month. But for me personally, there's a lot more hours of self-reflection, thinking about what we can do to improve the academy. So there's 2 hours of formal meetings, but hopefully all the members of the board spend a lot more time thinking, planning, and trying to come up with new ideas to help develop the academy further. Our biggest goal is to support our academy and the principal, the parents, and the teachers. Our board is very diverse. We have 10 members on the board. 3 people are still working, 7 are retirees. I'm lucky enough to be retired. Being retired has not meant retiring since I'm volunteering. But the board consists of people from finance, people from education, facility managers, people from the private sector, people from the public sector, and we're a real diverse group. And while we don't always agree, one thing I will say is we really do like one another and we respect one another. And the bottom line is we're there to help the children. What it has meant ministry-wise, what I've really come to appreciate is the amount of sacrifice that the parents give to put their kids in our schools, but also the sacrifice on the part of teachers and the administrators. The amount of hours that these people put in that they are not paid for, just to make sure that the children advance, really is humbling to me. So I'm proud to be a director, a chairperson, and I would encourage anybody to volunteer. I was struck just a month ago, one member of the parish volunteered at a different parish, and I was like, what? And the woman said to me, well, you never asked. So please come forward if you have any inkling to volunteer. Don't wait for us to ask. So that's it.
Thank you, Maura. Thank you for sharing that personal insight. Our next panel member is Nick Ranieri, and Nick is the treasurer for the Board of Directors for Our Lady of Blessed Sacrament Catholic Academy. Nick, thank you for being here with us this evening. And if you would share with us, please, how do you balance the mission of Catholic education and maintain the financial responsibility to run an effective Catholic academy and provide quality Catholic education?
Thanks, Joan. That's a very long question. I'll try to give a pretty short answer to the question. The first thing is that we have to make sure that anything we do financially is consistent with and supports the mission of Catholic education, which in some respects is not simple. For example, we have an objective of making sure that our education program is affordable, but also sustainable into the future. And those two things can be in conflict with each other, which is a dilemma that we all grapple with. So what that means, from my perspective, is that we have to apply strong financial management to our organizations, to our academies, so that we make the best decisions possible. And like a large organization, a for-profit organization, company, we need to be really good at the financial disciplines and use the financial tools that are available to us to make good decisions. So things like cost management, forecasting, financial analysis, resource allocation is really important. We have precious resources. We don't have many resources, so we have to make good choices in terms of where we put our money so that we have the best return and outcomes possible so we can sustain these schools well into the future. We also need to have a dose of creativity and out-of-the-box thinking to try to solve financial problems in a different way. As the world evolves around us, the old solutions may not work, and we may have to think of different ways to augment and strengthen the financials for our academies. So if we can do those things, we can generate more insights and better decisions, which will help us balance the present with the future, which is really the objective that we have, and we need to, as an obligation, make sure that we are there for the present, for the students that are today in our schools, but the schools need to be there in the future. And that for me, is, if anything keeps me up at night, it's that particular issue. How do we make sure that both of those things happen at the same time? So if we go back and then make our decisions based on the mission, which we heard about tonight, based on the values that we have, which are very important, and we also heard about tonight, sprinkle in some practical thinking and common sense, we'll be in a much better position to support the mission of Catholic education and hopefully sustain it into the future.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing an operational insight for us. Father Jorge Ortiz is the pastor of St. Bridget Catholic Church in Brooklyn. Hi, Father. You are a true supporter of Catholic education, like all of our pastors within the Diocese of Brooklyn. And your parish has recently made significant contributions to the newly formed St. Bridget St. Francis Cabrini Catholic Academy. So I would ask if you would first share with us, how does the parish and the greater community benefit from maintaining a Catholic academy in the area?
First of all, thank you for the invitation. I always get nervous because Bishop Di Marcio, Bishop Massa, Bishop Neil, Bishop Chapetto are here. So I hope I don't get in trouble, right? Well, we don't see like a burden, the school. We see it as a blessing because it's a way of evangelize our people around there in the Bushwick area. This is a mission, all of us, this is a mission. I mean, these schools are a part of this huge mission that we're called to evangelize. So I don't see it like a burden. I don't see it like a heavy way to do it. On the contrary, I see it like a way to bring people back to church. My parish, the school, St. Bridget St. Francis Academy, it's very peculiar because there are immigrants, most of them, and 95% people from Mexico, Ecuador, and they came here for like all other immigrants for the American dream. But it was very hard to find it right now. So the church is helping them to get its American dream, which is education to their children. And I see it also, this contribution that the church did to the academy, as an investment, not money, but as investment of the future for our kids, for our children. We see right now, also through Futures in Education, we have this grant for our youth minister. Our youth group is around 80 people, 80 young people, every Friday they are there. All Fridays are there, just waiting, and they're happy. So I see this as a part of the mission. I see this as a blessing. I pray always to the Lord. But for me, the easiest thing is just to to wait, to close the school and see you, right? And I will take care of the building because I need it. I need the space. But no, it's not that. We need the church. We need the Catholic education in that area. So just to show that the church is still there for our people, for the immigrants, and for everybody who comes to look for help.
Thank you, Father, very much for sharing those words with us. Thank you. Our next panel member is not only the principal of Our Lady of Blessed Sacrament Catholic Academy, but she is also a very effective leader in Catholic education within the Diocese of Brooklyn, Joan Keane. Thank you, Joan, for being here with us this evening. Partnerships are essential for the success of any Catholic academy and/or parish school. So if you would mind sharing with us, how has the multiple partnerships with your pastor, board of directors, parents, and others, how have that helped you to focus on being the instructional leader of the Catholic Academy?
Thank you, Joan. Like all of us here, we all struggle to find just a little bit more time in our day to get all the things that we have to get done, and there's never enough time. I've been very fortunate the past 21 years at Our Lady of the Blessed Sacrament to work with 3 pastors who were all very, very supportive of Catholic education. And when we became an academy, we worked hard to keep that relationship strong. We believe that a strong relationship with our church and with our school, the academy, is really essential. And our pastor, Father Bob, he's at school almost every morning at our morning prayers, and he jumps right in at a moment's notice to explain a saint day or to invite the students to come over and pray the rosary in our rosary garden. So we're very fortunate in that to have a great partner in him of the spiritual development of our children. Our board of directors are a bunch of really dynamic and hardworking, energetic people, and they have been very, very respectful and supportive of my role as the educational leader, the instructional leader at school. All the subcommittees have really worked hard to take a lot of the things that one of the millions of things that the principal has to do. They've been very kind to help take some of those things off my plate. For example, the marketing committee, the subcommittee, they've taken over the advertising and the social media and the website upkeep. John Paul has always been a good helper with our technology too. So that's like one example of that. They've also been able to do things like upgrade our lighting and our security cameras and negotiate better rates with the bank, things that I would never have had time to do, but that I would have to spend time on. So that has been very, very supportive. And they really have freed up some of my time, spend more time with the students, more time in the classroom, and more time to be of assistance to the teachers, which we really all need.
Thank you. Thank you very much for sharing that with us. And now, no offense to the rest of the panel, but I'm really very excited to be speaking to our final 2 panel members because they truly are the reason that every one of us is here this evening and why we tirelessly work to preserve Catholic education within the Diocese of Brooklyn. We have 2 students with us. They are former students of Our Lady of Blessed Sacrament School, John Paul and Camille. And John Paul now attends Archbishop Malloy High School, and Camille is in LaGuardia for vocal. Very talented. So I'd like to get to speak to you and pose a question to both of you. And John Paul, if you'd go first, what do you remember most about being a student at Our Lady of the Blessed Sacrament?
Well, considering that I went to all BS from nursery to 8th grade, I've made a lot of great memories. And I remember coming to class every day with an aspiration to learn and being very academically challenged. I remember having the opportunity to volunteer in the computer lab, and I greatly enjoyed that. I loved our music concerts, our spring and Christmas concert, which we held annually, or we still hold annually, and we came together to create a great musical event as a school.
Thank you. Thank you. Camille?
I remember going to Mass once a week, and when we came back from Mass, we would do a reflection on what we learned in the Gospel and the homily. And I thought that was really important because it is important to know what we learned in church.
Thank you for sharing. I'd also like to ask both of you, how do you think that Our Lady of the Blessed Sacrament prepared you for your high school experiences?
I think that Our Lady of the Blessed Sacrament prepared me for my high school experience because it provided with me a great aspiration to learn. It formed my Catholic beliefs and my Christian values, and it allowed me to have a very strong knowledge basis, which allowed me to get into the high school of my choice.
Thank you.
It helped me to keep time management because in high school you get a lot of homework, so it is important to make sure you're having the right time for each one to do. And it also helped me to be kind and respect others because my school is very big and has lots of religions. And so it is important to know that God is always going to be with me while I'm in this big school.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. I want to thank both of you especially because it's very encouraging and rewarding, and we don't always get the opportunity to hear directly from the fruits of our labor. So thank you so much for sharing with us. It's very encouraging for us. I want to thank our panel members for sharing with us this evening, and I'd also like to thank them and everyone here this evening for your service to the ministry of Catholic education within the Diocese of Brooklyn. Thank you.